In order. I am here.
Tamara? Here. Giovanna? Here. Jim?
Here.
Jeff?
Yes.
Randy?
Here.
Todd?
Here.
Mindy? Here. Tom? I'm helping you do. Okay. And I'm here.
Okay, I will turn it over to
Yep, each year, every August, we set our tax rate for the next, or for the current school year, which will help us then come back and amend our budget based on these tax numbers. As you can see, the comparison from last year to this year, our assessed evaluation went up quite a bit. So assessed evaluation, total assessed evaluation came in at $191,794,621. So almost 20 million more than the year prior. So we kind of anticipated that. Tom had done some checking. Personal property is what kind of went up a whole lot. So that's what we were seeing. So all in all, it gives us a tax rate ceiling of 5.1582 that we can disperse. And so I'm recommending putting the 3.1912 into incidental, which is our Fund 1. The dollar at 1.8670 is debt service, and that is set. So that is we want to keep it there because that's what helps us year in, year out look at all of the debt that we have to determine how we're going to pay off those bonds. And one thing I'll bring to you next month is LJ Hart had got with us that they have, if we do a lump sum payoff this March, we'll save $90,000 in interest, and it puts us in a position that in next spring, if we wanted to run a small bond to finish out some of the projects, we would have that bonding capacity to be able to do so. So we'll keep that debt service at the $1.8670. And then I'm recommending to put 10 cents into capital projects, and I mentioned that to you guys last time as we developed that 5-year facility plan with district money being budgeted into capital projects, but if we designate 10 cents into the capital projects from our tax levy, it just helps generate additional revenues into Fund 4. So putting 10 cents of this total tax levy, we're essentially taking that 10 cents out of incidental and putting it into Fund 4, but it generates $191,795 for Fund 4 for those capital project building improvement things that we need to do inside buildings, outside of our buildings. So all in all, that puts our total tax rate at 5.1582, which will generate $9,839,150 local dollars.
questions.
As you can see too, down at the bottom, we put the new construction numbers. So those new construction numbers, $500,000. We knew that would be a little bit high too. There's quite a few homes being built. So the new construction was $563,000.
Exciting stuff.
Okay.
New construction, increasing our fund availability. It's good things.
Perfect. I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the 2022 tax rate as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Randy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Tamara. I have a motion and a second to set the 2022 operating tax rate at 3.1912 and the debt services rate of 1.8670 for a total tax rate of 5.1582. All in favor?
With the capital project, 10 cents.
With the capital project 10 cents, right?
Yep. Yep. Just the total the same.
All in favor? That's everyone. I'll entertain a motion to close the tax rate hearing.
I'll second.
Jamie? Giovanna? All in favor? That's it. Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Pritchard. Mr. Lawrence?
Yep. Right, yes, sorry, Mr. Pritchard, yes.
Yes, sir. You want me to pray us up?
Yes,
I'd
please.
be happy to. Glorious Father, we thank you for the beautiful day that you've given us. We thank you for your provision of all things life. We thank you for our community. We thank you for this Board of Education, our new superintendent, all our staff and administrators. God, thank you for the blessings that they are to our families, our kids, our community. And Father, just bless them in their work. Pray that you'll guide them, give them wisdom, help them always listen for your voice first, and then do what you ask us to do. We ask that in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Okay. Call the meeting to order at 6:59. Good, sit down. Oh, yeah, that's all right. I can't write. Christie, you really after you pick yourself up off the bed. Formalities. I'm here. Yes.
Cameron? Yes. Giovanna? Jim?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Randy?
Yes.
And Todd?
Yes.
Seeing we have a quorum, would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion in a second to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, John. For a second.
Second.
All in favor? That's everybody. Looks like we have some recognitions.
We do. All right. If we could have Rhonda Peel Ward and Christy Elmaker come on up. I'm gonna get out of the way there. Too close to this way. Come on up. Hi, ladies. How are you? And you are?
Rhonda.
Rhonda. We've invited these ladies to come in. There was an incident at the concession stand over band camp week, and they were cleaning out concessions as parents, as band parents, and we had another community member. Would you like to come up, Sherry?
I know.
I just want to say hi. Okay, okay.
I'm just excited you're here.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Call for them, so
And I wasn't there, so I'm just going to introduce Giovanna to speak specifically, but we just know that during that incident that these ladies and their bravery, and I'm going to read what I wrote because it did help. We recognize that during a time of crisis, you use your training and expertise to take control of a situation and provide emergency medical attention needed to save a life. Your heroic actions are admirable. Our community is better together because of you. So, and if you want to speak to a little bit about, since you were there that day.
Well, I'm just going to say, you know, you always think about when you go through training such as CPR or whatnot, you always wonder, will I be able to answer the call when the call comes my way? And sometimes you don't stop and think, is it going to be someone I know? Not only someone I know, but someone I love and someone who's been dedicated to the work that they're doing in a concession stand, at a football field, on a random Tuesday night. One thing I know is that I was standing outside of the concession stand, and by the time I heard call 911 and walked the 10 steps to get to the concession stand, these women were hard at work. They created calm in the midst of chaos. It was very orderly. They jumped right to and didn't let any reservations come into mind. And in fact, they were calling out instructions to everyone of what to do in order to help to make sure that children didn't come into the concession stand, that loved ones were notified that something was happening, all in the midst of continuing to deliver CPR during that time. And so truly, they answered the call above and beyond what you would ever expect of anyone to do. And because of that, a life is here, a mother is here, a wife is here, a sister is here, a daughter is here, an aunt is here. And we have a wonderful patron here. So I really do want to celebrate Christy and Rhonda for the work that they did to step in the time when nobody else was really able to do what they were doing. So thank you. That's on them. And because of the action that they did and because of what happened, we all now have a call to action to make sure there are AEDs in accessible places on our campus and in our community. And then we also are called to then learn CPR and actually do it annually so that it becomes a part of what it is that you do and you can respond. So because of these three women, there may be another life that is saved in the future as well. So it lives on. So thank you.
time, Javon. Thank you.
Deep breath. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
I will make that motion.
Thanks, Jeff. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Jeff. I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor? That's unanimous. Some action items.
Yes, sir.
Approval of Career and Technology Center program.
Yeah, so each month I'd like to bring forward a different program evaluation from across the district, just to give those program directors or those who supervise those programs an opportunity to share and highlight exactly what they're proud about within those programs, but it also gives the board a sense of what takes place in those programs. So our first one for the night, Mr. Adam Salmon is so very excited to be the first one to present our program evaluations. But he's got a little bit of information on Career and Technology Center program.
Always a pleasure. For sure. So, what we all may have known at one time as VOTEC, it is now called Career and Technology Education. We partner with the Fort Osage School District and have for a long, long time as far as sending our students to CTC, Career and Technology Center, on their campus. But they also have classes now housed at the Blue Springs Freshman Center, and so we send students there as well. So in this program evaluation that Mrs. Hampton sent, I guess I took the liberty, because it says on here, the level of performance in achieving desired outcomes, and I put excellent. Because what the Fort Osage CTC offers to our kiddos, we don't have near the capability of doing on our campus. And it's an excellent place for students to receive that education that will hopefully turn into a profession for them as they move on after high school. It offers students the opportunity, I'll just read this, to explore the potential career field while earning college credit, advanced certifications, and new friendships. Students program robots, complete clinical rounds at a local hospital, build the addition to their own classroom, and create ice cream out of liquid nitrogen. From Cerner to American Medical Response to the Kansas City Mavericks hockey team, our students work alongside professionals in the field and learn by doing. And so program strengths, two that I mentioned for sure, are the fact that students can go there and get the hands-on experience, but also earn credit towards a college education in the field as well. But also, beyond that, is the industry experience from internships and externships sometimes, and then the IRCs, the industry recognized credentials that they can earn while they're in high school, and when they graduate, they've already made themselves that much more marketable to those companies. Also, cutting edge programs, they are constantly evaluating what the industries need and creating programs to do that. They brought in a gentleman a few years back that built an entire welding section to their building, and it really has turned into, you can't get enough welders these days, and so this is a great place for students to earn those credentials. And experienced instructors. Most of the instructors that they have come directly from the industry itself. And so they've got the experience on their side, and they're able to get that to the students on a daily basis. As far as challenges, I put down two as well. The fact that right now we don't have transportation to the Blue Springs courses. We transport kids to Fort Osage, both in the AM and the PM, but we do not offer transportation to Blue Springs. It's different from our ROTC program because the morning CTC bus can drop the kids at Blue Springs South and then take the kids to Fort Osage and then come back at the end of first hour and pick up the ROTC kids and bring them back to Oak Grove because it's on their normal route. But as far as the CTC courses, we don't have that transportation yet. And differing calendars is sometimes a challenge because while we're on spring break, Fort Osage might not be. And so they go to school at Fort Osage for a half a day and then they're off. or they don't go to school in the morning and then they have to get up and go in the afternoon to Fort Osage. Now this year, thankfully, our calendar coincides with Fort Osage, but it's still different from Blue Springs. So there's still some challenges in the calendars. For goals for the program, and this was taken directly from CTC's website. So within the next 10 years, over 80% of jobs will require skills and technology. As jobs evolve and the demand for skilled labor increases, we want to provide an opportunity for students to not only be successful, but to pursue their areas of interest. The CTC offers 15 programs ranging from marketing to culinary arts to engineering, and numerous labs for students to apply what they're learning in the classroom. Students further explore their careers with field trips, college visits, and internships. And then in the summary, I put CTC offers students experience in the following programs: Advanced Computer Engineering, Agriculture and Animal Science, which is also the FFA program, Automotive Tech 1 and 2, Computer Animation, Construction Trades, CSI, Law Enforcement, Culinary Arts. They have a true kitchen that a chef would walk into a restaurant and this is what it looks like. So they have the cutting edge right there. Cybersecurity, Entrepreneurial Studies, which is also involving DECA, Fire Science and EMT, Health Sciences, HVAC, which is new, Marketing, Nail Tech, Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy, Video Game Design, and Welding Tech. Students can put their knowledge to the test through Skills USA, which is the CTC version of contests. And so in welding, they do a contest at the district level and can qualify to state and on to nationals as well. FFA, DECA, and FIRST robotics competitions, and can earn both dual credit and industry recognized credentials during their time in the programs. If you like coffee, you should try Campus Grounds just outside Buckner on 24 Highway. The E-Studies actually operate the entire business at Campus Grounds. And so it's, to me, I can't send enough students to CTC because it is such a wonderful place for students to learn and grow in the industries that just getting the word out and making sure that kids understand exactly what it is that they're going to get into when they go there. So as far as our programs are concerned, sorry, let me get my next document here. We have 2 students that are in Advanced Computer Engineering, one in the senior level and one in the junior level. This year we have 5 students in Ag Productions, which is higher than we've ever had. We've only had, the highest we've ever had was 2. In Automotive Tech 1, we have 2 students. In Law Enforcement and CSI, 3 students. Construction Trades, 3 students. Culinary Arts, 3 students. This year we only have 1 student in E-Studies, which is a little bit different from what we normally have. We normally have 4 or 5 students in the program. Fire Science and EMT, we have 2 students. The Accelerated Health Science at Blue Springs Freshmen, well actually they're both housed there now. The Accelerated program, we have 1. And let's see, HVAC, we have 1. Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy, which is relatively new, we have 3 students in that. Video Game Design, 1. And Welding Tech, we have 4 students this year. And I'm sorry, I don't have a total number on that, but it's around 30 kiddos altogether. So again, long-standing positive relationship with CTC that started years and years ago and continues to grow and allow students opportunities that we just can't offer at the high school level. So I'm glad to answer any questions if anybody has anything.
I appreciate you providing the actual student count per program. Just one thing, I mean, just kind of thinking outside the box. I mean, Oak Grove is one of the only MRVC West schools that doesn't offer FFA in-house. And that's something, obviously, Mrs. Hampton coming from Wellington, that's one of the biggest programs in the district. That's something that historically Oak Grove, like, what's the background of why Oak Grove's never offered FFA ever?
Well, just at the, mostly in I can't speak to today, but years ago, just the interest wasn't there. You know, we're not a farming community. We don't have that many people involved, and it just doesn't have the draw. Now, I think I was excited when I say I'm speaking as a former principal. back in the day when they started their FFA program and they started with agronomy and many other things that they were doing. I think it gives good opportunities, but I mean, unless things have changed dramatically, and I would say we're probably moving less and less agricultural-based people around here, unless urban agriculture
Well, I mean,
maybe
I just-
come into play, but,
So like, just to give you an example, so I wouldn't consider Pleasant Hill a big rural town compared to where we are versus where they are.
but much more ag background than Oak Grove.
We don't even have a youth FFA.
No.
If you wanted to apply to that program, you had to you went to Lone Jack.
Like, what does our 4-H numbers look like though
We
for
don't,
that?
they go to
Yeah.
Lone Jack.
At all?
Yeah.
Correct, we did not have enough.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's near and dear to my heart. My dad was an ag instructor and FFA advisor for 31 years, and I went through the program myself, and I know the benefits of it. So pre-COVID was the last time that we polled our students as far as interest in the program, and it was minimal at best. And so
So at least
bringing
those
in
that are offered,
I'm sorry?
those that are really interested at least have the opportunity to
Oh, yeah.
get it through CTC.
Yeah.
I just wondered if there was something, I mean, if you actually had it in the district, but I mean, if you're pulling the students, then you have a good guide of, because it's a big undertaking. I mean, you would have to add so
Right.
much classroom space and
Another instructor. And,
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes to it, but.
and most ag instructors, at least that I remember, were a 12-month contract versus teachers that aren't
Yeah.
normally a 12-month contract.
True.
So a
And
little
just-
bit different there.
Just thinking out loud, I mean, I would feel much better about providing transportation to Blue Springs for our students, or providing transportation to East Studies. I'm sure we don't do that either. We haven't in the past. Or researching, even going over to UCM's Innovation Center, at least Summit, and putting kids over there too.
If you were going to invest that kind of money, I mean, I'd be more interested in more advanced STEM type programs and robotics and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, personally.
Doesn't Odessa send kids to something?
Odessa does.
They do, Pleasant Hill does. Yeah.
Odessa
I know
does.
Pleasant Hill does. I don't know if Odessa sends them all the way to Summit Tech.
I had a nephew there, and yeah, there were kids from
Yeah,
Odessa
they do.
right there.
Yeah.
Because they have a Cass County Career Center too, that they do both, but it's different.
I appreciate all the opportunities that the children have, but one thing I'm just curious about is what are we doing to help more teachers come into the field as a district or partnerships? Because one thing I know is that the industry recognized credential of a child development associate is desperately needed, as well as teachers, as well as, is there an opportunity for students that are really interested in education to sort of get on that track?
Well, interestingly enough, we also partner with Blue Springs School District to offer other courses that aren't necessarily a part of CTC. And one of them is a teacher beginning program. And so we had 2 students that were in it last year. We don't have any in it this year, but it's just one of those pieces that students don't always want to go to another school to do a program when it's all right here, and taking a half day and traveling over to Blue Springs, even though it's not that far, it's still time away from the people that they're used to being in.
I just wonder if that isn't something we could look at, like even if it was small, just of how to do something to encourage those that want to go into the field. And, like I'm looking at youth apprenticeships for high schoolers that can learn while they earn to get their CDA, and then they can do their apprenticeship in like at the early learning center or at a primary as a para. And I think that's where I'm feeling the push. So I'm just asking, because I'm sure the hiring is showing we
We still have
need
an
it too.
FTA.
Well, interesting, we just put that position out there as far as an FTA sponsor goes, and so I don't know if we've had any applicants for it or
We
not.
just put that out with some teacher recruitment funds that we received from the federal stimulus dollars. Some of that was, actually that was state funds, but created just a Future Teacher of America stipend, and hopes to get some kids interested in education, and then hope to see that program grow in a few years to where it's some cadet teaching type things, to where they're in classrooms working with teachers. So hopefully, we'll see. We just opened that last week.
And it'll be interesting too, what the Blue Ribbon Commission comes up with, if anything, from their recommendations to try, because I know Charlie Shields, the state board president, I mean, he shared that we're in a crisis, and everybody here knows that. But it's a desperate situation across the board.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion to approve the Career and Technology Center program evaluation as presented.
Make that motion.
Dan?
I'll second.
Thank you, Randy. I have a motion and a second to approve the evaluation. All in favor? That's everything. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a segue to health services.
Just last month here. And to the health services. All right, our next program evaluation for this evening is our district health services program. And we've got our district nurse, Allison Purvis.
And she's not going to talk about COVID.
I know,
Maybe.
so nice to
Yeah.
something else.
Did you start sweating?
She
thinking you're
started
coming from the board?
Well, she said, you get to be the guinea pig and be first, and I was like, it's because I have so much experience.
You want every month?
So I just wanted to start out with a brief little introduction of our team, so you could see all of us who are your health services team this year. I'm Allison Purvis, as you know, the lead nurse, and I'm in the elementary building. We have Amanda Jackson in the middle school, and Angela Denner in the high school, and then new this year we have Christy Scarborough for the primary. So that's our team. So we have a great team. A little description of health services program. The goal of a school nurse is to support student health and academic success by contributing to a healthy and safe school environment. Just like education has all its acronyms that they love and frameworks and all these things, nursing has those too. And so we have it's called the Framework for School Nursing Practice, but it shows that we should be practicing and working in the following areas: standard of practice, care coordination, leadership, quality improvement, and community and public health. And if you really care to dive into it, which I'm sure you're probably not interested, but National Association of School Nurses breaks all of those different things down into all the components that nurses in schools work with. So just a brief overview of our program last year. These are last year's numbers. So every year the state asks us to compile a chronic health conditions list of how many students in our district have these different chronic health conditions. So we have 155 students with asthma that are on medications at home or at school. There's a lot of people who have had an asthma attack, but they haven't needed an inhaler for 4 years. Those aren't really counted in those numbers. Those are more with significant. 30 students with life-threatening allergies, 23 students with seizure disorders, and we had 7 diabetics last year. Our list, it's very huge, it asks actually about 60 different health conditions, but these are kind of the top ones. The number one, probably besides asthma, or it might even be higher than asthma that's not listed on here, is typically the diagnosis of ADHD is always one of our really high numbers for students. And then last year, we saw a lot of kids, and we had 17,358 office visits between the buildings. We sent 15,000 students back to class, or visits back to class. About 1,500 went home, and we called 911 4 times. So that averages out to, we see about 108 students per day in the district. Now the primary is always the busiest with, she has an average about 40 there, I average about 35, and the middle school and high school are in the upper teens. And then daily medications, we gave out almost 4,500 medications last school year. Something to remember about that is that it's not just oh, come, here's your pill. We're educating them on the side effects. We have to do the 5 rights of, medication administration. There's charting and documentation and all of that. So it might seem like a simple thing. Or even if they just come for a Band-Aid or they want Vaseline for chapped lips, that all gets charted. And so there's a lot of paperwork that goes
into that. So, and the average is you can have a visit, like a chapped lips visit's like 30 seconds, here's your Vaseline, on back to class. And, especially in the middle school and high school where they do see a lot more kids with some mental health problems that they're coming in or concerns, their visits can be much, much longer. So sometimes even though they aren't seeing the number of students, the visit length is longer. So I will say that our numbers actually here, I don't know if they sound high or low to you or what you would expect to see. These are actually quite a lot lower after COVID. So before COVID, I would typically see 60 to 70 students a day, so probably about double what the numbers are here. And I know that the primary was having about 10,000 office visits just by themselves per year. And with COVID and trying to keep everybody separate, and not having people mixed and tracing and all of that, the teachers did an absolute fantastic job of really trying to help minimize the visits of things, oh, you got a paper cut? Well, we could probably take care of that in class with a Band-Aid. Or, helping them tie their shoe, like untie the knot in their shoe instead of sending them to the nurse. Some of those things they took care of in class. And so it really was a team effort to kind of get some of those numbers down a little bit and allow us to focus on some things. Some great things. We made it during the last 2.5 years. That was just a huge, huge thing for us. Another good thing, we updated our health services handbook. That was actually on our agenda to do. We were having a meeting about it like the week we went home for like COVID and never came back because the old one was about 20 years old. So we as a team met and revised and went over the handbook. We're really excited. This one has listed, it has like all the board policies in it, and it's all electronic, so all of our forms that we just used to photocopy, we now have electronically that the nurse can just print them out, and save them a little bit easier. So that was kind of a big process there. So we're excited about that. The other really exciting thing for health services is this year we have implemented a new electronic health record system for the health offices. And it also has an accompanying health parent portal. We were super excited about it for a ton of reasons. It does allow for safer, more standardized charting. It covers some like legal gaps that we felt were in with the old system to help us cover that. And it also has some templates and stuff so we can kind of say, these are the things you should be checking, kind of help standardize care and make charting more streamlined across the different nurses. The parent portal, I know some of you may have done it, some of you might not have. If you haven't and you're listening, go ahead and get on there and do it. But one great thing is it does allow secure communication between the parents and the nurses. It's encrypted and secure, and so instead of just sending an email through your Gmail or whatever that could be intercepted, if you're sending secure health information, they have all the layers of security of any doctor's office or all that type of thing. And it's very fast, like it's immediate. As soon as you send me a message, it like pops up on the screen that I can see that you've done it. Or if you were at the doctor's office that day and you decided to, you got a new diagnosis and you put it in, it immediately pops up that I can see that you got that new diagnosis, and you can upload, a picture of the doctor's note right there and stuff. So it does have a lot of really nice benefits. And so it will help us be a little bit more streamlined. Once we fully implement it and learn it, learning a new system always takes a little time. But those are some good things that happened to us the last little bit. So our strengths, I would feel that we have a really strong team that works well together and communicates effectively with each other, as well as staff, students, and family. Some challenges, one of the biggest ones we continue to have is nursing coverage when we are gone. We have, I think, 2 really great subs right now, but sometimes they have other things. You call at 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 2 is not enough to go through. And so one thing I think that would be really helpful is if we could get some more nursing subs or figure out a way that we aren't putting, the responsibilities of taking care of all those students on the other office staff of like secretaries or counselors or principals or whoever has to fill in. And if we could have people who were trained in that area, it makes it less stressful for the office staff. It also makes it, I think, safer for students and districts and just, everything all around. In summary, we are really grateful to be able to provide what we feel is high quality care to the students of the district to keep them healthy in order for them to be successful academically, because that really is our goal, is we want them to be able to succeed. And if you're, worried about your health, then you obviously can't be learning. School nurses play an important role in many areas, not just putting on bandages or giving out medications. And we're excited to partner with staff and families to provide this collaborative approach to learning and health. And now that maybe all of our thoughts aren't consumed with COVID, we can kind of try and work on some of those things that we had wanted to expand on in the past. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
We appreciate you guys, my gosh. Wow, that's an understatement.
And I have used the new portal and it is pretty cool.
Thanks.
Probably the only one.
And it's nice to have you here presenting under more friendly.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Not that it was unfair.
No. Right, thank you.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the health services program evaluation.
Make that motion.
Jim? Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Jim. Motion in a second. All in favor? We have the safe return to in-person instruction and continuity plan, section 1.
Correct. So one of the provisions of the federal stimulus dollars is that every 6 months we are updating our plan. And this is our overall health safety mitigation measure plan. So Mr. Huffington, worked on a plan, shared it with myself and Allison. After CDC came out with new guidelines, and then DESE came out with new guidelines and recommendations as well. So Mr. Huffington, do you want to share what our plan says?
In our updated plan, it really pares it down dramatically. Probably the biggest thing that would jump out at you is there's no such thing as quarantine anymore, which I think everybody's thankful for that. It's really, if you're positive, you've got a 5-day, you should isolate at home for 5 days and then monitor symptoms as you return. They recommend wearing a mask for an additional 5 days. But if you're exposed, you should monitor your symptoms. Students will be able to wear masks if they choose. But really, they need to monitor those symptoms, and if you're positive, encourage them to stay home for 5 days. That's really the vast majority of it. It's pared down tremendously. Mrs. Purvis, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I mean, we're excited to see that it's treating it more like any other communicable disease. So I think the big take-home point is no matter what you're sick with, whether it's the flu or strep throat or COVID, please don't come and share it with everybody. And then, stay home if you're sick. And then once you're feeling better, or for that one, it's specifically 5 days. For other things, there's other guidelines. So, that's very much more simplified.
And as far as the testing goes, we're going to leave that up to families. The district will not be testing anymore either. We have resources. If families like to have some at-home tests, we can get them those resources to get those tests. So it's really, really pared down.
Definitely pared down. Very simple. I like it. Any questions from Mr. Huffington? Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the safe return to in-person instruction and continuity plan 6-month review as presented. Thank you, Todd. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tim. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? That's everyone. Thank you. We have some discussion items.
Discussion. Construction, Mr. Huffington. Sit down.
The good news is construction is progressing. We feel very good about opening school on Thursday for our students. Elementary phase 2, we've had a few delays along the way, but I'd like to just compliment all of our construction companies. We've had some jobs that we've done on the side outside of the scope of the bond project. We've had a lot of things going on, and if you've come by school, you've seen parking lots full of people in here working. So they've made a lot of progress. The elementary, the new space, the new construction in the office is coming along nicely. I think there's going to be a lot of items to wrap up over the next several months, but for the most part, the school's going to be functioning. Security is in place. So really nice space, beautiful renovation through the elementary school. So I believe at the end of the open session tonight, we have a tour available. If anybody would like to see the new space, we'd be happy to show you that. So I just want to say thank you to all the work. Once again, Mr. McLean, Mr. Tripp, are tremendous help. Mrs. Hampton has been a lot of help since she's come on. So it's been a large task, but I think it was a great team effort.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Tom.
Everybody's ready for COVID and construction. And admin updates. We'll start with primary.
And the early childhood, yeah.
Early childhood.
I'm going to have Michelle kind of go through the early childhood numbers of our student and our enrollment numbers.
We have 8 spots available in our Title I classrooms, and we are screening 48 more students, which is extremely high compared to, usually this time of year we screen about 30 kids, and that's if we haven't cleared the list in May, but we cleared the list in May, and we still have 48 people that have called over summer to sign up for screening. So we're going to wait till those 4 screenings are over before we place any of the kids to make sure that they get the spots that they need. Miss Lynette has 4 spots available, but she has one family that could be transferring in, and another family that is on the list for testing. So that'll leave 2 spots for her if those don't come through. So we are higher than we've ever been at this time of year, and then we have more kids that we are screening. So.
And that's your ECSE classroom that has 2 spots?
If those other 2, and with us not counting any first step kiddos that could come after September, that's our September kids place. But
And their Title I classrooms have 5 spots available and 3 spots available. That's it. And they have 48 kids interested and qualify.
And some of those 48 could also qualify for ECSE. So.
So we'll keep you updated in the future of how those numbers are looking. So, thank you. Starting with the primary, we currently have 437 students enrolled, and kind of breaking that down, kindergarten, we're at 133, which is one of the smallest classes we've had. Kind of wondering if we're going to have more enroll in the next 2 days, but I guess we'll see. First grade, we're at 157, so our first grade classes are at 23. Second grade classes are at 147, so our normal size typically is 150. Just total new enrollees, excluding kindergarten coming in. Since we've been back in August, we've had 23 new enrollees come, obviously excluding all those kindergartners who've enrolled. Drops, we've had 16 kids drop. So we're up 7 kids from what we had. So no launch or virtual students have shown any interest at our age level. And just kind of comparing that to years past, last year, so we're at 437 now. Last year we were at 445. So we are a little less than last year. Our highest number in the last few years, 19-20 school year, we're at 456. So we're about 20 kids less than we were that year. So just a little bit of information about enrollment numbers. This week, we have focused a lot on obviously allowing our teachers to get back into their classrooms, get prepared curriculum-wise and updates with that. But we've also had some special education training, ALICE training, which is our crisis prevention program that we use district-wide, as well as just getting our teachers ready for Meet the Teacher Night, which happens to be tomorrow. Come and go 3:30 to 5:30 for both the early childhood, primary, and elementary. And I also have a shout out that I would like to someone in the room, Mr. Jennings. I wanted to thank him and his family. I think it was Michelle, his wife, son Sam, and then Michelle's father.
Yes.
And also one of my second grade teachers, Allison Lundquist, and her friend Gretchen. If you've ever been on the primary playground, you know we have that reading garden, or that area in between the first grade hallway and the second grade hallway. It's just overran with bushes and unkept items. And through the years, we've had people who've volunteered and given us like benches and picnic tables with the good intention of it being upkept, and it just hasn't. So I just wanted to thank you guys. They came over the last 2 weeks, beautified it, cut down all that brush, removed it all, fancied it up a little bit, and so it looks wonderful now. So I just wanted to thank them for their time. So, and did it obviously not wanting any recognition because they kind of did it behind the scenes, but can't hide anything from us, Mr. Jennings.
I got in trouble with my wife, is all that was.
Yeah, so it's definitely a wonderful place that our students can go out and read on nice days, and I think it'll be easier for us to upkeep also because there's less.
They can mow better now.
Yes, they're able to mow around. All of the extra has been taken away, so just appreciate it. So thank you, Jeff. So.
On a bonfire in October, everybody liked to come burn.
Yes, there was a lot back there.
Yeah, Michelle wanted me to bring loppers in the truck. It ended up with a chainsaw and a trailer. So, yeah.
Wow. So, awesome. Appreciate it. So, thank you, guys.
Mr. Reed?
Elementary. Our total enrollment for elementary is 441 students right now. We're slightly up from last year at 435. We have 149 third graders this year, 142 fourth graders, and 150 fifth graders. So our biggest group are our biggest kids in the building. So excited about that. We've already had 26 new enrollees this year. It's quite a large amount. We've only had 6 drops in third grade, 8 drops in fourth grade, and 4 drops in fifth grade. So more enrollees than drops, so they're sticking around. We also did not have any virtual students, launch students, as of thus far. We kind of did a little information across the last 3 years with COVID for a 2-year span, and then where we're sitting at right now. Our average class size back in 2021 for third grade was at 22, fourth grade at 17, and fifth grade 20. 21-22 last year, our third grade was slightly down at average class size of 20. Fourth grade slightly up from 17 to 20, and fifth grade slightly up from 20 to 21. And this year, third grade's right in the middle at 21 between the 2 years, fourth grade at 21, and fifth grade at 21. So we're sitting pretty consistent across our 3 grade levels. Last Friday, I got to meet with 4 of my new staff. We spent quite a bit of time touring the building. It can be, if you haven't been through there, a little discombobulating, confusing. So we spent some time touring the building, getting familiar with other people in the building, other areas in the building, how you get from the office to your classroom, how you get from your classroom to the cafeteria, how you get from the cafeteria to recess. Really important things with students. So we got to do that and talk about important building related items. So that was nice to have. I'm meeting with my staff tomorrow. We're going to be talking about all the same things that Laura talked about a while ago, really focusing on student achievement and student and staff safety with our ALICE training. And as Tom said, we've had a lot of construction over the last year. If you recall, last January, our lower hall was moved out. They have been displaced for 8 months. And excited that they are back in, and our upper hall is back in. The office area is a very, very nice place. We're excited just to be back in our rooms, to have floors that are not concrete, to have baseboards, to have nice paint. We have had so many helpers from the community coming into our building and doing so many great things, including New Life. Had some volunteers came and put our office furniture together the other day. So we are just very lucky to be a part of a community that supports not only the schools, but our staff. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd, for taking care of it, too.
Mr. Kemp?
Good evening, guys.
Evening.
First of all, I just wanted to recognize our staff from this summer. You guys know we kind of had a crazy summer at the middle school, and if anybody knows me, my anxiety level on August 1st when I come back is usually pretty high. And this year I had to kind of take a deep breath because I'll tell you, I wasn't sure we were going to make it or not and get the floors and everything, but they look fantastic. So I wanted to recognize just all the people that stepped in and helped so we could get that building going and getting it ready, and it looks fantastic. We had 479 students right now enrolled in the middle school, which amazingly is the exact same number we had last year on the exact same day. But we've had about 40 new kids enrolled, so that gives you an idea of how many kids come and go. We had a couple more drop today, but we're at the exact same enrollment that we were last year. I'm really excited about our new staff. I have the most staff I've ever had coming in new to the building since I've been here. But what's really nice, we have a really good variance of staff as far as experience and perspective. So already just hearing those folks talk in their groups and collaborate has been really, really good. And it's nice to have some new teachers with a mix of experienced teachers. And I taught one of our teachers today, you never call them, I'm teaching with some of my older teachers, they're experienced teachers. So we learned that real fast. But that was a good laugh today. This week we have our new student 6th grade orientation tomorrow night. So at 6 o'clock, all of our 6th graders and new students come into the gym. We have a short program we'll go through with them. And if you remember over the last couple of years, we've kind of had to alter that. So I'm excited to doing that again, where we can actually have folks in the building and they can get into the classrooms, put a face with a teacher, those types of things. So feeling really good about that. Our fall sports are off and running. We have really, really good numbers. I was out today watching football practice. They got about 70 kids out for 7th and 8th grade football. I think they had kept 25 or 26 for volleyball, and I think Coach Nichols has 6 kids right now out for cross country. So good numbers there, great kids out. So we're excited again to see them do really good things this year. Some of the things we're talking about and working on in our back to school workshops, number one is just establishing that pre-COVID culture back in our building. We talked today a lot about those opportunities over the last couple of years that our kids have had to miss out on, and we're just really excited about being able to do those things again and giving them the full experience of Oak Grove and the traditions and things that they have to look forward to as they move through the middle school. So really super excited about that. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to, and you guys that have had kids in my building, the first day of school, I always ask for parents to send their back to school pictures in, and I do a little PowerPoint during the day and show that at lunch, and then also send it home to the parents. So that's always pretty cool at the beginning of the year to see how the kids have changed from grade low to grade low. So super excited about that. But just, I think our staff's excited to get back on track and have some normalcy and have a great school year. So thank you guys. Any questions?
And in addition to all his efforts, he's also the Central District president this year too, so take some time.
Thank you.
MRS to speak.
Thank you, Tracy.
High school level, we're at 576 students altogether. 165 freshmen, 153 sophomores, 123 juniors, and 135 seniors. Small handful of students doing full-time launch. I didn't get the numbers today, I apologize, but last week when I looked, there were 6 students who were doing full-time launch or full-time virtual classes, whether it's through launch or MOVA or MOCAP, any of those areas. Excitedly though, 3 of our 135 seniors are AFS students. We have not had AFS students the last few years because of COVID. In fact, we had to send AFS students home early because of COVID, so we're super glad to have them back in the building. 24 new students so far, 21 transfer students. Our AFS students this year, Maribel Gerard, okay, let me go back. We normally have 2 AFS students per year. And so we got 2 at the beginning of the process, and then late in the summer, I had another one in choir, and I asked Melissa Yankee and Stacy Forey, who are our AFS sponsors, and they're like, let's do it. And I thought, you know what, we haven't had them for a couple of years, let's do it. So we have Maribel Gerard, who is from Canada. She is staying with Bev and Carlson. Matilde Meneses is from Portugal. She is staying with Caleb Groff's family. And Veka Kazlainen is from Finland, and he's staying with Dominic Falzone's family. I'll have some practice in before graduation on those names, I promise. We also welcomed new staff members, faculty members to the building last week. Actually, one of them is our counseling secretary. She got started early in August. We talked business, we toured the building. I gave them my fancy names for the hallways, like front hallway, middle hallway, and back hallway, etc., so that they could get to know the building themselves. And then explained and emphasized what a special school district and community that they've decided to join. So got to know them fairly well in the last couple of days. Our staff focus the next 3 days. Obviously, we're working on our entire faculty and staff as far as our mandatory business so that we can get that under wraps. Building reminders on how we conduct business general teaching information. Our focus, not only as a building, but definitely amongst our faculty and staff, is that family atmosphere. Almost every candidate that I interview, part of what I share with them is the importance of family and how we come together when we need each other, and so we're reminded of that. And then always focusing what we do in the classroom, on sports, in activities, and wherever it might be, on what's best for students. After our keynote presentation today, we're also focusing on fundamism. So maybe Mrs. Hampton can share more about fundamism with you.
Do you need a bow tie?
I have bow ties myself, so I'm good, but Mr. Newman probably needs one.
Look at Mr. Newman.
And I do time my bow ties myself as well. So.
There you go.
As far as upcoming building events, I put in my notes, we've hit the ground running. CTC started today. Blue Springs classes start tomorrow, and then of course we start on Thursday. I don't want to step on Coach Selke's toes, but we have softball, volleyball, and soccer jamborees tomorrow in various places. The softball jamboree is the only one that's here, right? Both the other ones are at William Crispin, right? Okay. And then our girls softball team actually plays in the Greater Kansas City tournament this weekend. They're actually going to miss all day of school on Friday because their first game's at 10:45 in the morning. So they're excited about that, I'm sure. And then, of course, our first football game is at Lawson on Friday night. And if you haven't already, get online and vote for us to be the game of the week as well. I don't know if I'm supposed to share any information about EOCs at this particular point, but I'm going to go ahead and brag a little bit. In our biology EOC this year, we had 90% of our students score in the top 3 levels. English 2, 93.5% of our students scored in the top 3 levels. And in government, 97% of our students scored in the top 3 levels. So I thought that was a true testament to not only the students and taking those tests, but also the hard work and many hours that the teachers spend with them preparing them for those exams. We gave 2 AP tests in the spring. AP Psychology, we had 14 out of 19 students who earned a qualifying score, so that's 74%. And in AP Government, we had 22 out of 26 students who earned a qualifying score, which for AP test, I shouldn't assume anybody knows anything. It's a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. So a 3, 4, or 5 score on AP exams qualifies a student to earn that credit in any institution they go to. And then we're trying something new this year. Mr. Newman, innovation. We're going to do our A+ information and enrollment meeting virtually this year so that we don't have to bother parents with coming back to the school district for another meeting. We're going to offer it to them virtually so that they can do it from the comfort of their home or the pool or camper or wherever it might be that they can join that particular meeting. And that date is?
September 5th, 6 o'clock.
September 5th at 6 o'clock, which we understand is Labor Day, but that's the best time that we could fit it in when there really wasn't anything else besides the JV football game on that night. So. Let's see. We also will add AP Art History back into the mix this year. We had students that signed up for that class to take this year. Thank you. Any questions or anything? Good? All right.
Thanks, Alan.
You're welcome.
Mr. Selke?
Quick update on sports. Cross country has 5 runners out. Football 64, cheer 20, soccer 21, which is down a little bit for them. Softball 21, volleyball 29, and band is right around 130, I believe. So good numbers for band again. Coaching openings, we're down to having 7 openings right now. I know it sounds like a lot, but I think we have good leads on about 6 of those 7 right now. So I'm optimistic in getting those filled in the next 2 months. Started the season with Meet the Panthers that first Friday of practices. We raised 1,966 cans for the Community Service League, which was the most we've done since I started this Meet the Panthers night. Also had $200 in cash donations for that. Like Mr. Salmon said, 3 jamborees going tomorrow, varsity football getting ready to start off on Friday. And then we're rolling, busy every night. Been working with Ty and Tracy, talked with Mrs. Hampton a little bit about starting a
Middle school activities handbook, just to clear up a couple policies. It's very short. It's not as comprehensive as the high school one, but basically it's mirrored off of the high school with some participation guidelines, some communication guidelines for parents, has the concussion information in there as well. Just some things for those middle school coaches and parents to be aware of once they get rolling. But like I said, 90% of it comes from the high school handbook, and just tweaked a few things for middle school. So that's where we're at now.
Where are we at on the turf on the field? Are they gonna put that, they're gonna reapply all that? Was that supposed to be over the weekend?
I don't have the date on me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it might be this weekend.
Oh, it's this weekend.
I think so.
Because it wasn't done last weekend.
No,
I noticed
no,
that.
they dropped it off
Right.
end of last week.
Yeah.
I had that date
So maybe
on my
it's this
calendar.
weekend they're gonna do it.
I
Okay.
think so. Yeah,
Nice to maintain that.
absolutely. They say it prolongs the life of it, 3 to 5 years, so definitely worth the money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Henderson, do you have anything?
I can just talk about numbers real quick. We have an influx of students that have come in with IEPs. We've had 22 transfers in so far this year. All of last year, we only had 25. So we have a lot coming in. We do have 14 going out, but that's 7 extra kids, so that's quite a bit. And we have some kids with some very high needs coming in. So at the primary, we have 25 kids on IEPs. At the elementary, we have 56. At the middle school, we have 71. That's our highest, and at the high school, we have 61. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Tara and Ashley have both been back, so they've been helping with transfers and stuff a lot, so that's been super helpful, trying to get all that paperwork in. Using SpedTrack, our new system, has also been really helpful because, a lot of districts around the area have that program, and so it's been really nice if they can just transfer it through the program, and so that's been very helpful as well. But that's where we are. We're on the ground running. We have SPED meeting tomorrow with all of our teachers. We had SPED training today with elementary and primary, and then I had a training with new teachers come in last week. So that's where we're at. Anything else? Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for spilling my water.
The thing I have is just wanted to share with Jim, and I have some documents for Jim from the joint city school board meeting that we had. It went really well, I thought. It was a good meeting, a lot of good information that they provided. And I was really impressed with, and just good for planning purposes, all the plat information that they gave us. And so that's what I think for me stood out the most. And just kind of looked at outlook for what our district looks like and where those approved plats are coming in, so that we can look and start monitoring if we're going to see some growth in some of those single family homes that they're building. So I just thought it was a really good meeting, and I thank you guys for your time. Christy and I will start planning our hosting one, and that way we can get some more items on the agenda. So keep thinking of those things that we need to bring up and discuss to help build that relationship. Today we had our back to school convocation, so those of you that were able to come, thank you. Our guest speaker hit exactly all the topics I was hoping he would, and really helped frame the focus of what we're focusing on this year, which is self-care and just having fun in the workplace, and how to present yourself in a professional way, but also be human, I think. It's kind of the sum of it all. But it was really good. Tomorrow, New Life hosts us for lunch at 1 o'clock. So that's always a big event and a fun event. I'm excited to get back in there and be part of that. And then the last piece that I have is the norms. We talked, when we did our board training, we started norms, and last month I presented kind of the first round, and then I went through and narrowed those down and kind of consolidated a few of those. So just kind of wanted to see if the board is good with these. It leaves us at 8. And number 1 probably be the most important, but we base our decisions on what's best for kids. So if there's anything that you have there as far as suggestion or correction, I'm happy to make those, but otherwise I'll start adding those to our agenda. Okay. Is it 11? What did I say?
It's
What time is it? Oh, Oh, let's go one. It's over at one.
Yeah, it's over.
I have bring 11.
You're like,
Don't put 11. Our wine. Come
We have
come
Joe's, we're bringing in Joe's.
Yeah.
So we should be good.
Yum. Okay. No, 11 o'clock tomorrow. It's all right. Thank you. That's it.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Questions, comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I used to be the adjourner.
Oh, Randy.
I'm just not doing it.
I'll move, you can second.
Okay, thank you, Giovanna. Second?
I'll second.
You guys all want to stay here all night? I have a motion and a second to adjourn, all in favor? That's everyone, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Have a great year.
Yep, have an awesome year.
Yep.
I need to